In this video, before we even do our first camp out in our brand new RV, we head to Elkhart, Indiana to install an automatic leveling system.
We'll show you how it went and why, for us, it's a luxury option that we never do without. I have a confession. I am the princess and the pea. You know, the fairy tale about the princess who had to have the bed be just so. Well, that's me. We had automatic levelers on our previous Unity FX RV. So when Mike and I got our new 2021 Wonder on the Ford Transit cutaway chassis, that was one option I said I would not be without.
But there was a problem. Leisure travel vans didn't have the Equalizer system option yet on the Wonder. Equalizer Systems, the company that makes the automatic leveling systems in Elkhart, Indiana, well, they said they'd never done one before on the cutaway transit chassis.
For me, not having the automatic levelers was a deal breaker. I told Mike that if he wanted us to get the Wonder, we'd better also get the automatic leveler system.
So I called Equalizer, and lo and behold, they told me that they'd been experimenting with the Transit, and they thought they had one ready to be installed. In fact, they said if I would drive down to their Elkhart, Indiana headquarters, our Wonder would be job one on the 178-inch Ford Transit cutaway chassis.
We bought our new Wonder on a Wednesday. Bright and early Thursday morning, it pulled into the Equalizer headquarters.
Now, the Wonder is technically a Class C RV, but for marketing purposes, it's known as a B+, because it doesn't have that huge front overhang seen on most Cs. It soon went up on the rack, and Equalizer's Nick Godfrey showed me what would be installed.
This is the front jack and the front jack bracket that's going to go on your new LTV Wonder. These are patent pending brackets, developed just for this system. This mounts to the chassis using one box bolt that acts like an oversized toggle bolt with about an 18,000 pound shear rating, so that's going nowhere. It's a 13-inch stroke, 7,500 pound hydraulic cylinder, and that's the same jack that'll go on all four corners for this unit. And then this is the rear. That's the entire mounting bracket. We actually just use some of the existing hardware in the chassis and bolt through that. And we use cross ties in between both the fronts and the rears just to keep them stable, keep them upright. This is a brand new pump mount hanger we came up with. It's just for the Transit. And that bolts through some existing holes in the frame and cradles the pump pretty nice right behind the rear axle.
And everybody's going to want to know what's all this add to weight.
As far as weight goes, we're estimating this system with hardware and full of fluid in the neighborhood of 125 to 130 pounds. So you're not adding anything too terribly significant to the weight of your coach, and the return on the investment on the weight is pretty big. So this is the actual 4-function hydraulic pump that we're going to use. This is pretty standard for B+ and Class C motorhomes. You got yourself a 4-function hydraulic manifold with valve and coil set up here. The cool thing with our hydraulic pump that you're not going to get from anybody else is a standard manual override. So worst case scenario, you're set up on the jacks, batteries die on you, what do I do? You've got a manual override feature on this. You can actually physically open each valve and then spin the motor with a cordless screw gun and actually raise the jacks. So that's something pretty unique to our pump. But this is a 3,000 PSI maximum pressure hydraulic pump with a pressure switch for the all retract signal, and it does a great job. We use this exact same pump from little stuff to big stuff to motorhomes to travel trailers and fifth wheels and bigger than that. So it's a good little power unit.
As the crew began the installation, Nick took me for a tour of the privately owned company to show me how the parts are forged for the many different truck and RV chassis they work with.
Yep, so these are actually hydraulic cylinders that we started to manufacture in-house here. We used to bring in most of our components from outside vendors, and to stay cost competitive and actually have a better control over our own quality, we started manufacturing a lot of parts in-house. These jacks are part of that. We also manufacture all of our own wire harness. We've got an auto feed laser that cuts all of our own plate steel. We've got press brakes, we've got our own powder coat line, we've got robotic welders. So we're getting heavy into manufacturing, which just allows us to control our own product from every aspect. This one right here, this is an SL15. This is actually just a 15-inch stroke version of the jack that's going on your motorhome. So 15 inches of travel versus 13 for more of a mid-size motorhome. We also use these for rear leveling legs on fifth wheels that need a little bit more travel, and it's a 7,500 pound lift capacity, just like the ones on your LTV. So in this part of it, we're getting into more of our laser fabrication side of things. Over here are our press brakes, where any of our plate steel that needs to be bent is bent to form using a variety of different dies and press brakes. Over here is our Mazak automatic laser that actually cuts out all of our plate steel components. This thing is actually pretty neat because it will run a second shift worth of steel on its own without anybody having to be here to work. So we run an entire day's worth of production, finish that, clean it out, restock it, and program it to run overnight, and it'll run a second shift all on its own. We can double our productivity without having to add a lot of cost to it. Back here, nothing's running right now, but these are actually our lathes that hone the material that goes into the hydraulic cylinders itself. And then we also do the assembly of the inner rod. And then after that, then they go on to the robotic welders that finish the process of building the cylinders. So that's what's happening back here. We've also got in the back is our Purge Station, where we purge and pressure test every cylinder that we build here so that we know when it leaves this shop, not going to find any leaks, and it's going to run the way it's supposed to. So that's what's happening in this area. This is our powder coat line. We decided to go ahead and start doing this ourselves a couple years ago. When price increases were just hitting us, the lead times that we're getting from the companies we would send parts out to were just getting ridiculous. So we decided if we're going to keep investing in manufacturing, powder coating makes sense. So anything that we do here that needs to be black or silver that's an in-house made part, we powder coat it right here ourselves. So fully functional washer, powder coater, oven, everything done right here, and we control our own cost, we control our own quality, and if I need a part painted today, I can throw it on a hook and send it back and have it to me in 2 hours.
What are these things?
So these are our two Multicam plasma tables, and this was kind of our first big jump into steel manufacturing when we decided it was time to start doing more of a do-it-yourself type of thing. So what we use these plasma tables for mostly is cutting the square tube that is part of our square leg jacks that you'll find on horse trailers, larger gooseneck trailers, more of our bigger commercial industry jacks. They're all a square leg tube and tube jack. So these plasma tables do a really great job of cutting all the different holes and fitting ports and all that need to go into
Why are they
those
called
type
plasma?
of legs. They're called plasma, and I wish it was running. I could show you, because it actually, when that head moves out and it's running its program, it's actually a plasma laser that comes down and actually cuts the holes and ports and all that stuff into the tube.
And the green water?
The green water is the coolant, because that thing cuts extremely hot, and that coolant keeps it from melting everything down in the table. So this is our wire harness department, and whether it is a wire harness for our pump, for our control unit, or a wire harness that we've been contracted to build for another RV manufacturer, trailer builder, whoever it is that needs a wire harness built, this is where we do it. We've got multiple gauges of different 12-volt wire. Every harness has its own custom-made pin board. I don't know how these girls keep this straight and do what they do. It's amazing to me. But we're really good at this here. Wire harness is something that we've been doing ourselves since before any other manufacturing process started. The people that work out in this wire harness department have a lot of years into this and a lot of their own personal time invested into making this as good as it is. So something that's very unique to our wire harness is this braid that we put around every harness. Instead of running our wire harness through a snake skin or a wire loom, we braid every harness through one of these braiding machines right here. And this is not only heat resistant, it's tamper proof, and it also helps identify our harness through everything else that would be running through your unit, because this is very unique to us. And you always look for that yellow stripe in that braid, and you know that's the Equalizer wire harness.
Meanwhile, back to the install lift, the jacks were pretty much installed on our new Wonder. So the equalizer system is an option, right? Well, I added an option to the equalizer system, something that I think everybody should think about is called a snap pad. And Fred here is going to put that on, and you'll see why. Instead of just the metal like that, this is a little pad that kind of really makes it nice, and it you gotta twist it out, and there it is. My snap pads. And we put those on all 4 of the levelers, and it just makes it really nice. It keeps it neat, it keeps it clean. You don't get a lot of debris, you know, if you're in muddy, if it's a little muddy, if there's a lot of leaves, and it protects the metal, and it disperses the weight a little bit. Snap pads, check them out. And here's the control for the equalizer system, and you can see there is a control for each of the jacks. You can operate 1 at a time, 2 at a time, just lift the front, just lift the back, or the way we always do it is we just hit auto level, and that's all you have to do. But wait, there's what I think is a better way to run this control panel. This is the better way. This is an app that Equalizer System puts on. I can control either side, front, back, however I want, do it all automatically, and I can actually hit this and watch it. Let's try it. And so we have put in what Jennifer said at the beginning is probably our first must-have option, and that is that 4-point automatic leveling system. Now, to be sure, you do not have to have one of those installed. They're pretty costly. It costs around $4 grand to put them in. But from our standpoint, since we used one on our previous RV, it's a system we just don't want to do without. They're that much of a convenience. Now, leisure travel vans will do this as a factory option, or if you've got an older model and you're thinking about it, you can call Equalizer Systems yourself, and they can put it in just as they did here at their facility in Elkhart, Indiana. But automatic leveling system for us, that is a must-have, and I can't ever imagine having an RV without such a system. That means no more of those little Lego blocks for us. So, option number 1, installed. We now have the first 2020 Ford Transit cutaway chassis with a fully automatic 4-point equalizer system. You can bet there will be more.
So the automatic leveling system was our first major addition to our new wonder. Now that it's installed, we have lots more little personalization and organizational tweaks we want to make. And we also want to give you all a complete tour of the inside and outside of our new RV.
So it looks like we have our next 2 videos all planned for you, and then it's time to take this on our first big camping trip in our new RV.
We're going to have an awesome summer, and we'll share it all right here on the RV Lifestyle channel.
We want to thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, would you give us a thumbs up? Please do. And don't forget to subscribe to the RV Lifestyle channel here on YouTube. When you do subscribe, if you click the little bell icon, then you'll be notified when we have new videos online. We're Mike and Jennifer Wendland. Thank you so much for watching.
Happy trails!